Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury and Bulldog Nation, you heard a couple shows back, maybe a week or so, that I called for our entire country to call out China. Yesterday at the National Security Council and the UN, a resolution passed against Russia's invasion of Ukraine. China did not vote against it. They abstained from voting so it could pass. And they also announced that they will continue normal trade relations with Russia. I want to put it up on the screen once again to remind you who the American Communist 10 are. Look at them. It is time that we demand LeBron James, Hollywood, Google, Facebook, and the rest of them to take some type of action against China. Is China not going to pay any consequences for their support of this invasion? I mean, and then we learned that China asked Putin to put off the invasion till after the Olympics. Means China knew it was coming. But nobody's talking about what are we going to do to China. That's the hold that China has over the American Communist 10. Look at the list. They have a hold over them. And then we have this, I wrote a little column and I read it about an overview of the State of the Union address, which wasn't a State of the Union at all address. It's this Buy American thing. Buy American? Yeah, buy American, but not American energy. Yeah, buy American, but we want all these illegal immigrants to come into our country. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Now, I got to read this thing. Andrey Kortunov, an insider in the Kremlin, apparently was critical of this Russian invasion. I don't know if he's alive still now. But let's hope between the billionaire oligarchs who are suffering and some of these insiders. But I always wonder, what do they have? How does Putin use terror to keep everybody in line? Can you imagine? I mean, how a guy like Putin, 20 years, never taken out by a contestant? And there is no, then we hear about Taiwan, some rumblings going on with Taiwan, some outages. I mean, who knows? What are we going to do there? Don't do it. Don't do it, G. Don't do it. And then Putin's excuse for the invasion of Ukraine, nobody talks about this. Nobody in the national news media says, I don't want Ukraine to become part of NATO. I don't want those missiles that are in NATO. I don't want to be them close. Now here is how ridiculous that is. So that was his excuse. His excuse, he's worried about Ukraine joining NATO. Now here's how stupid that is. And nobody talks about this. Doesn't it work both ways? So Putin's allowed to be afraid of NATO missiles, but NATO is not allowed to be afraid of Russian missiles. It gets even better. Our presidents, except Trump, our presidents capitulated. Remember at Biden, they took out we took out defensive missiles out of Poland to appease Putin. I mean, it's unbelievable. The appeasement of Putin. But here is the real ridiculousness of it all. Everybody knows no NATO country is going to invade Russia or start war on Russia. Russia is the aggressor. Georgia, Crimea, now Ukraine. NATO isn't going to invade Russia. It is, again, I'm going to go back. It is a shame that we didn't put NATO tanks and NATO planes in Ukraine. Now the cost is going to be off the charts. My final topic, Lynch and Massie strikes again. Remember, he's one of 3 congressmen who voted against the federal anti-lynching law that Rand Paul even sponsored. Yesterday, he voted against the Ukrainian resolution. He's one of 3 again. You know, some convoluted constitutional position that he has. Instead of being a statesman, we got a smart-ass clown for Congress. We all agree with him on 95% of all the issues. That's why he wins re-election. He's going to win re-election again. But this is the kind of, our congressional district doesn't have a congressman or a congresswoman who's a real congressman. You know, I spoke to another Massie supporter, longtime Massie supporter this morning, who called me to express what I'm expressing. They expressed it to me and agreed with me. I mean, I'm just telling you, I don't know when the district gets tired of it. They say he's got the safest district in the country. But it doesn't, you know, just because he's got a safe district, we're all supposed to like go along with everything Thomas Massie says. I mean, everything is just silly. Lynch and Massie, once again. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.